Okay, I guess for these YouTube videos, either gonna have to put, I don't know, sitting on the couch, messy mama hair, no makeup, zit on my chin. Uh, anyway, I'm gonna try and make one without, bad language. This will be a true test because I cuss like a sailor. And my mom said it wasn't very ladylike, so I'm gonna really try. What I'm going to talk about is, for those of you going through it or fixing to go through it, parenting classes. Um, yeah, it's not very long, you know. You have to be on time. You can only miss a certain amount. Um, but what most people don't know, especially when you live in a small town, is the hardest part about parenting classes is seeing all the people you used to hang out with. Yeah, and seeing the majority, I'd say, of my parenting classes, good 75% were still completely on drugs. There were drug deals that went down at the parenting classes in a church, no less. Um, actually, one chick was there. She was at least 6 months pregnant, maybe a little further. Um, One night when I was there, you know, they have like a cafeteria thing, and oh, they cook the best food there. I don't know if any of the ladies that work there will ever see this, but y'all rock. Anyway, so this pregnant chick that was there um, came in high. I mean, not just a little high, not like weed high. She was gone, out of it. Um, she'd already lost one kid. Was fighting to get that kid back while she's pregnant. I believe she doesn't even have that one now. I don't know because, you know, I have to distance myself from people like that. There was also um, people had to take their kids with them. I mean, there was a guy there that had twins. His wife was in jail, and he was going through the motions. You know, he wasn't the major dope addict in the family, but he tolerated it, and so he had to go through the motions to keep his children. And what I mean, they were like 2-year-old twins, so it was really something to see that. Um, One of the most exciting and horrible things that happened at parenting classes, which I guess I mean, every time we went there, you know, we ate first or whatever, um, before we went in our little classrooms, and it was like based on the age of your children. Anyway, so this one chick, um, had started palling around with a chick she met at the parenting classes. They were both, I think one was a pillhead, one was a heroin user. Pretty sure one was a heroin user. Anyway, so they met at parenting classes, started selling dope together, away from the parenting classes, I assume, mostly, hopefully. Um, anyway, of course, there was a deal that went bad, like there always is. You know, there's always somebody trying to screw someone over. And so the more ghetto, and they were both white girls, I'm not being racist, the more ghetto of the two, or ratchet, I guess. I think that's the first time I've ever used that word. But the more ratchet one of the two came in with a cup of coffee. You know, everybody's still sitting down, you know, getting situated, saying hey. And she goes and pretends to accidentally bump into the other girl and dumps a whole hot cup of gas station coffee on her. Mind you, these are tables that sit like 6 people. And there was children there, you know, so me and other people were, you know, yanking babies out of the way. The chick that got the coffee dumped on her picked up a flower vase and busted over the girl's head. I mean, it was a horrible fight. Tables got turned over. A couple guys tried to separate them. Won't mention any names, but a certain guy got punched in the face like 3 times trying to separate them because He had a little girl in a high chair like 3 feet away from him. But, they don't teach that in Dare either. They don't teach it anywhere. You have to live it. And if anyone can watch this and, change some of their decisions, change some of their choices that they're making every day to avoid being put in situations like that. After I got off of heroin, which, I don't know, I didn't DT that bad. Coming off of painkillers was always so much worse. But anyway, it just I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me how people they think once they've quit something they'll be fine, and then you go through the motions to keep your kids and do the right thing, and then when you're going to parenting classes to better yourself, you get tempted. You see people doing drugs. I mean, that was the worst part of my week, were Tuesdays and Thursdays having to go see people. It's hard enough to look in the mirror, but seeing other people who just didn't care. And these people now, a couple of them are dead. I'm not kidding. I have like 12 dead Facebook friends right now. A couple are suicide. The rest are, one was murdered. Again, drugs. And the rest OD'd. And here's the kicker. You think they OD'd because they didn't know their limits? No. The majority of them that OD'd decide to quit heroin and go to methadone clinics or Suboxone clinics or get Subutex or all these other drugs that, doctors or Port or whatever they have in Carteret County here. They act like it's some miracle, life-saving thing. 4 years ago, before I got in my trouble, I knew a girl who was trying to quit the methadone clinic because it made her feel worse than heroin. She had to find a way to drive an hour every day just to go get a dose of something to not feel like crap. Like, you don't get high. I mean, I guess, some of them abuse it. I've never did methadone, really. Not like that. Anyway, so she was 2 days having not had methadone. I watched this chick do 10, I'm not kidding, a whole bundle, 10 bags of heroin just to try and make her legs stop hurting. And if you think for 1 minute you can't OD from that, you're insane. And, after doing the 10 bags, she wanted more because it just wasn't working. She was like losing her mind. And then maybe a week and a half later, this beautiful girl, she's from Bath, good family, job, parents sent her to rehab a couple times. She ended up working at a strip club. She was on Subutex. She'd quit it before, quit heroin. She went to Subutex. That didn't work. Anyway, she ended up Suboxone. Next thing I hear, she was stripping in Greenville and died of a heroin overdose. And I don't know if she got, a bad batch or if she simply was just trying to make the pain go away. Anyway, back to the parenting classes. If you put yourself in a situation, which when you do, everyone has that right or wrong thing. I don't care if they try and say, oh, they weren't raised right, they never had a chance at life. That's BS. Everyone knows the conscious decision of who they're around and what they're going to do. So if if some kind of buzz seems worth it to you to die, end up in jail, lose your children, if you happen to get through it, just know that you're going to completely keep being tempted. The therapy for it is tempting. The classes are tempting. Leaving the house is tempting. I can't believe I'm doing this or saying this, but anyway, having been a heroin addict, which wasn't that long, but any of it's bad. When I go to the doctor, I can't stand blood being taken. Yeah, 4 years clean, woohoo. I cannot stand blood being taken because it reminds me of how it felt. I don't know if any other people have done heroin will ever watch this, but winter is particularly hard for heroin addicts. It makes you warm. It's like if you could have a painkiller, a nerve pill, and Christmas morning every single time. That's pretty dangerous. And for God's sakes, if you know someone that's doing this to themselves, I don't know. I had to lose everything I had to straighten up. But I'm going to keep making these videos and hope that maybe it reaches the right one. That maybe somebody looks at my greasy hair and non-makeup face and, knows that they can get through it. Maybe someone will see this that's going through parenting classes right now and saying, oh, I cannot count the times I said, oh, my kids will be better off without me. It's not necessarily, having been suicidal, but thinking I'm never going to be good enough for them. Because, your brain has been stirred with a spoon from the drugs, from depression, whatever. But you're exactly who your kids need. And you can do better. Children have the sweetest, most unconditional love in the world. And they're very forgiving. And everything you do wrong or think you do wrong, even if it has nothing to do with drugs, if you yell too much or your house isn't clean or whatever, there's always a reason to try. And there's always a lesson to be taught. So yeah, don't give up. Please. Don't put yourself through what I've been through. It took me 4 years I've been making videos of myself. You think I posted them? No. It took me 4 years to even, be able to stand looking in the mirror at myself. Because when I was on drugs, I was skinny and my hair was long and, I put on a really good show. And then reality sets in and you have to deal with it. And, yeah. So, oh, Christ, I'm going to sound like one of these YouTube people. If you want to like the video or share the video, you can. If you don't, it's okay, because, I'm doing this for others. If you watch it, great. If someone else watches it, great. If I just make it and have my own little personal therapy, that's what's up. Yeah. That's it. Bye.